I couldn't bear the idea of going back in the house today. It's like about 100% perfect out here on my back porch. So there you go. I'm going to have a nice fireside chat with you. And what I want to discuss is the amazing comments I've been getting the last few days. And I don't mean just lovely things that have been said about me, but of course those are also great. No, I want to talk about just the fact that some of them are quite interesting and quite useful. So let's talk about some of these. Let's start with this one. This is from Rich B2229. He says actuators would be the primary limiting factor rather than batteries. It will take a significant production facility to produce the actuators. It would likely take 18 to 24 months to build and ramp. And copper could become an issue at some point as well. So what we're talking about here, of course, is the Optimus. And the Optimus requires a lot of actuators. There's no doubt about that. Scott and I have been talking about that for over a year. And now, with the change in the way they're going to do the hand and the arm, it sounds like they'll need even more actuators. Now, I'm going to ask Scott about this on Wednesday morning. I guess that's tomorrow morning. I want to ask Scott about this tomorrow morning. But my experience or understanding would be that it wouldn't take that long to ramp these actuators. Again, it's not the same as ramping, a plastic part or something, which might only take, 90 days maximum. But 18 to 24 months, I don't think so. I think it'll be much faster than that. Now, with regard to copper being an issue at some point, copper may become an issue for the entire world at some point. But the amount of copper that's going to go into these Optimus bots, while when you multiply it times 100 million a year would be an issue, overall, I don't think it's going to be a big get. That's just my thinking. Okay, Rich, but that's how I see that. This is from Moss Mini. It says, well, we now have the best sell Moss. That's the whole name at Moss Mini. Best selling car in the world, fastest car in the world, under $60,000. And that is just the beginning of the superlatives, Moss Mini. You could have gone on and on and on. We could have talked about the safest car in the world. We could have talked about the most advanced truck in the world. We could have talked, how many superlatives? Maybe we should make a list of all the superlatives that we know to be true. I think the list would just go on and on and on and on. All right, this is from Vermont Own Boy 6957. Says, Randy, hello. Is it past your bedtime? The Model 3 long range with federal tax credit is now under 40,000, not 30,000, as you stated twice. Well, okay, you got me on that one. That was a big miss on my part. As I'm saying it, I can absolutely remember in my head going, is this right? Is this right? And, it was one of those ad lib moments where I didn't write it down. So sorry for that miss. All right. Mega Wilderness, a regular contributor. Excuse me. Lunch. A regular contributor to the comment section. He says, the Optimus doesn't exist either as hardware or software. No business would lease or purchase a bot until it proves itself financially and in durability, which is why Musk will prefer to sell them to Tesla cultists that would buy them even though they be incapable of anything but walking and talking in the same way that Alexa and Siri can do. Well, okay, first of all, the Optimus exists. It already exists as hardware and already as software and already as hardware and software together. Mega Wilderness and I don't always agree. Maybe you already knew that. But there's no question that it needs to prove itself financially and in durability, like that part of the comments is totally. And so, yes, I believe, as Elon just said, they will have 1,000 to multiple thousands deployed in their own factories doing useful tasks, learning all about the limitations, all about their not only usefulness, but their durability, how they operate financially. Is it, costing as much as a regular labor? Is it costing a lot less or a lot more? All of that will absolutely be done before the first one is sold or leased. By that time, I think if you've got a couple of thousand working for months before you start doing anything at retail, I think you'll be okay. So somebody responds to him, so you're an ostrich. Nice. That would be Rich B 2229. Well, Tom McKee 5671 says, did Tesla ever finish Master Plan 3? Of course, what he's referring there to is that we're now going to have Master Plan 4 introduced. And he wants to know, well, is Master Plan 3 done? So now we can go on to Master Plan 4? Well, no, kind of in a way, none of the master plans will ever be done because they all have aspirations that can never be completely finished, like accelerating the move to a fully sustainable future. I got it. Just had to think for a minute. Anyway, but yes, Master Plan 3, there's a lot to go yet. A couple of things that have not yet even been unveiled, but might be unveiled on August 8th, as well as some aspirational things like having a terawatt of terawatt hour of electricity being stored by Tesla, or of storage units being sold each year. That's still years and years in the future, but a lot of things are years into the future. So no, number 3 is not done, but we need to move on to number 4 to add on what? Probably the bots, probably bots of both kinds, 4 wheels and 2 legs, but maybe some other bot concepts as well. You never know. Plus AI and AGI. That's going to be part of it as well, I'm quite sure. Gavin, MIYH 6218. Gavin's, I don't know. Okay, I couldn't get it. I can't figure it out. Thanks for lifting my spirits, even though your predictions are often wrong. LOL. I responded to him. I said, well, I certainly hope so. If my predictions were always right, the government would come, spirit me away into some very dark place, and start working and dissecting my brain. So if I'm ever 100% right, don't let the government know. All right, this is from David Will 1320. Whatever we're calling it, Musk calls it a cyber cab, and only RK calls it a robocab. It's not that complicated, Randy. The man making it calls it the cyber cab. If you can't get something as simple as this correct, what else are you getting wrong? Well, I'm caught again. I have this thing about name changes. I don't know what it is. One of my children even changed their name radically, and I had so much trouble getting used to the new name. Google changes names of stuff all the time. So this was called Robo Taxi for the longest time. And then you're right. Cyber cab seems to be what Elon wants to call it. I will be right from now on. All right, from Botanic G, that was with a C, BOTANICG. As all the Tesla master plans come together, we will witness a symphony of insight and wisdom from Elon Musk, so we emerge as a united species pursuing common missions to benefit all humanity, not just those lucky enough to be born in the USA. Well, I think you're right, Botanic G. I think you meant it for real. Some people thought you were being sarcastic. Some people went, what are you even talking about? But no, I think that's exactly what Elon's trying to do. And I think he's succeeding on multiple levels. So there you go. I think you're right. Brent Comstock 7915 says, would people feel more comfortable if you had a bot behind the wheel giving you something to talk to as your car did the driving? So this is kind of sort of like something I mentioned the other day, where right now I feel sometimes a little stupid talking to my phone. I know people might feel stupid talking to their speaker over in the corner, telling it to up the thermostat or whatever. I think that there's a limitation to how much we're willing to talk to a device that doesn't look like a human. Would that be different with the Optimus bot? I think so. I also think it'll be different because by then, or even shortly, the conversation will be more like conversation as opposed to just a directive. So yeah, I think would the bot behind the wheel be better than the self-driving car? Maybe, in a sense. You might just feel like they'd be safer. I don't know. That's quite like out of the box, really good question. You need to be on my team someday. All right, we've got Inner Mist, INNER, Inner Mist. Thanks, Randy. One of your previous theories about Tesla stock could be closer to the truth today. People are selling NVIDIA to buy Tesla. Forget the 2,600 price target. I'll be happy if it gets above 200 and stays there. Well, I won't be. That won't be good enough for me. Okay, so Tesla stock, yes. So people are selling it. If I would expect, I would think that there are probably people taking their winnings or a piece, trimming off a piece of those winnings and moving them over to Tesla. Although I did see a couple of different reports this morning, a couple of people saying that they think NVIDIA is going to 5,000. So what do you think about that? Dwayne with an E, Dwayne Java. One problem with AI, by the way, I'm going to read three together here because these are all three on the same subject. I think we're going to have a little longer conversation. One problem with AI is an unequal distribution of resources. Like, isn't that true of everything? Will people be given a universal basic income? Typically, my experience has seen companies not wanting to pay tax or pay for social welfare. If Elon is promising a utopian future, why hoard so much money? Spread the wealth. Let's talk about UBI. So then I thought this was from Jay Gerbase, was super responsive. He wasn't even responding to this, but I thought it was the perfect response. He says, I lived on St. Lawrence Island, Alaska, with the Inuit tribes and saw firsthand what happens to people when they have no jobs and nothing in particular to do. They're taken care of by their tribe and by the federal government. They have nothing to do. And some are very happy with their hunting and fishing, but some have no purpose. They have lots of drugs and alcohol problems. Education is pointless as there's no advantage to getting an education. But some few are gifted artists. Unfortunately, they have a high suicide rate. Their society seems to be stagnant and sad. With robots doing everything, will we become listless and have no purpose? Well, I think that all of those are very good questions. Should we have UBI? Will we become useless and listless? Will we become alcoholics and drug addicts? And will we not have a purpose in life? My general sense is no to all of the above. And the money will come. Half of the benefit of the future will not be in how much we will earn. Half of the benefit of the future will be in how little everything costs. Let me make that clear. Everything will cost so much less than it does now that if your income stays the same, you will be wealthy. Does that make sense? Okay. If that doesn't make sense, ask me in the comments below. So you will pay less for groceries, you'll pay less for electricity, you will pay less for an automobile, or you won't have an automobile at all. So you'll pay less per mile for transportation. You'll pay less for every product that you buy practically will be less. Think about, TVs going down from, over $1,000 for a 25-inch huge tube TV to under $1,000 for a 84-inch flat smart TV, that kind of stuff. It's going to be across all things. Your healthcare will go down dramatically in cost. Your education will go down in cost. Everything's going to go down in cost. So will that mean that if we pay so little for everything and we have these massive incomes, will we feel like we don't have to work as much, won't have to work as many hours? Possibly. My feeling is that what everybody will do is they will start figuring out new things to entertain themselves. And one of those things I've talked about a lot on the channel, but I'll just briefly mention again here, is games. So humans have always played games. They've played board games. This is for thousands of years, board games. They've played drawing games. They've been drawing on the walls of caves, right? They've played games in fields where they were competing with one another for running fast or throwing something. And all of these games have been going on from the beginning of time. I think this will become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you will be very good at a game. You may be very good or sort of good at 5 games. When I was growing up, I played volleyball, played ping pong. And when I say volleyball, I mean in a very tough league with some folks that were Olympic players in my league. Ping pong, yeah, I mean, we're talking about, running around the table and slams back and forth. So there was a softball, played an adult softball league. So, you might have multiple games that you're good at or sort of good at or like to play for your own purposes. And then some people will get really good at any one of those things to the point where other people might be willing to pay to watch. And so you might have multiple leagues. You might have like a a pro league and then a semi-pro league like we do now for baseball, football, etc. Then you might have a semi-pro league. Then you might have like a Division A. I mean, you'll have multiple stratas because there'll be so many people wanting to go out and watch really good competition that you'll have all these different leagues. We already have people watching people playing games. You have massive screens and people go to an arena, pay money to go in and watch people compete. Why? Well, you get the benefit of the crowd. You get the benefit of rooting people on with other people around you and people screaming and yelling and going crazy. So you'll have multiple levels of that. You'll have chess. Maybe chess becomes an even bigger thing than it already is as more and more people get good at chess or go down the line, bridge, all the different games. Go, pick a game and people will start inventing new games. And this will be where a lot of activity takes place in the future. And so you'll not only you'll spend time watching, but you'll also spend time potentially perfecting your own particular sport. Anyway, that's how I think things are going to work out. There'll be other things too, like arts and crafts, I think will be much bigger. People will want their homes decorated much more by, in fact, my wife was telling me the other day that kind of craft-oriented clothing or, individually constructed clothing, bespoke clothing is becoming bigger and bigger. And as the cost drops, and as people have more money to spend, that'll become a bigger deal too. People will want something tremendously unique. All right. This is from Andy Onions, 7864. With the first part of that, Andy Onions, did he have to have the 7864? I would have thought that would have been unique enough. Bear in mind, dollars will be worth a hell of a lot less in the 30-odd years that this prophecy will require. Yeah, so dollars, how it will impact the actual value of dollars and how we actually manage money and manipulate money between one another in order to pay for these things is a very good question. I think there could be a lot of change. I don't know about cryptocurrencies. Remember, I've known nothing about them except, kind of the basic concept, but it might be that. We might be all dealing in, you tap your phone and you lose X number of whatever they are, Doge coins. All right. Tired Dad 6541 says, first, you've been doing great since your vacation. I must have gotten reinvigorated. By the way, this is another thing that's something I really told people all my life and all my books. I talk about the importance of vacation. Take long vacations. Take multiple 3-day weekends with your wife and your kids sometimes, not always. Take some of your kids with only your spouse. Take some of your vacations with the entire family, but do vacations a lot. Okay. Then he says, I know you probably already plan on this, but can you go over projections based on what the last call went over? So he gives these examples. Energy. Can we project the next 2 to 3 years, assuming hard work and expansion? Well, I think energy will be the fastest growing division of the existing divisions today. I think bots will eventually become a much bigger and faster growing division by a lot, by maybe an order of 10 or 20. But I think energy will grow faster than cars. And I believe that once they've got this, the 2 locations up and running and really have it all figured out, I think they're going to start cookie cuttering energy storage facilities all over the world. I thought that would happen sooner, but maybe they felt they needed to really, really get it nailed. We'll see. Solar. Yeah, sorry, got no real help on solar. The solar panels in China are so cheap that it makes no sense to make them in the US. I doubt whether Tesla will ever make them. We now have these massive tariffs that Joe Biden has just put on those solar panels from China, which might mean some domestic makers will start to make them, but who knows? We'll see what happens on that. We're so close to the election, and all that could change. And so what about the rest of the solar business, the solar roofs? I'm hoping. I don't know anything about it except to know that it just makes so much sense. It's going to have to come down in price for it to be a very, very big thing. All right, what about the charging network? Yeah, that'll just continue to grow like crazy. There'll be no slowdown in the expansion of the charging network, and that will eventually be a big moneymaker. How about the car? I believe we can reasonably say 3 million in 2025 and 4 or more later. I think that 3 million in 2025 is probably, very doable. And then it'll depend a lot on what this new car is that's coming out later this year or the beginning of next year, and how fast they ramp that, how fast they continue to ramp the Cybertruck. and also whether or not they ever put a sales and marketing team on to go out and start doing some more proactive sales to governments and such agencies. Anyway, what about FSD and robotaxi? I think I've talked that to death. We don't need to go there. And bots, same thing. I think we've got that. Yeah, and then would Giga Mexico be part of this? India, Italy, Turkey, Quebec. Well, again, Giga Mexico should be the very next place where we start to put down some shovels and start building some walls. That in Reno. And we've got to start in the Shanghai mega factory. Anyway, yeah, I don't know about the next one. India seems like it'll be next. This is from Fractal Elf 7760, another regular contributor. He says, tell you what, I'd be happy just to get to all-time high on Tesla at this point. If anyone, including Elon, says a stock price target of 90K, they're kidding themselves. 10K maybe in 20 years. By 2030, I'll bet we're about 2,400 if things go well. Okay. I'm okay with 2,400 in 2030. Aren't you? Let me know in the comments below if 2,400 in 2030 would not make you extremely happy, wealthy, and wise. All right. WI too low. He says, I feel that's with a number 2. WI, the number 2 LOW. Why too low? Why too low? I feel your pain, but an all-time high would tempt me to sell and maybe miss the 10 times increase from 27 and 28. As for the eventual stock price, it really is possible that Tesla will have a moat of several years and execute on bot production better than anyone else. If so, the potential is truly unlimited. You are right, win too low. By the way, lots of people do sell. They get a lot of money and they're like, wow, okay, I'm gone. But in this particular case, the obviousness of the eventual outcome seems to me like so much more obvious that it is going to be huge and continuing to increase for many decades into the future, unlike the NVIDIA thing, even unlike Apple, who has lots of like straight up competition. So in this case, I don't think Tesla is going to have any serious competition or care about the competition for a decade or more. From Jonelson 9760. Apparently you are betting. Nothing wrong with that, but I prefer investing. I think he's talking to this previous person, and I don't care what you do. I'm not like any of the other channels. I will not put you down for doing options. I've done options. I will not put you down for doing leaps. I've done leaps. I will not put you down for doing for doing stocks and options and leaps all at the same time. I'm doing all three at the same time right now. I will not put you down for doing day trading. I've done day trading and did very, very, very well at it. 33 times my money in 1 year. Have you ever done that? 33 times your money in 1 year? I did. Okay, I have the proof. I can show you the receipts. I went from $2,500 to $65,000, okay, in 1 year. I think that's 33 times. Something like 33. Maybe it's 31. Anyway, so if you want to play the market like a gambling machine, do it. Have fun, and I hope you have a great time. Not investment advice, but I'd recommend only betting what you can afford to lose, even what you can afford to lose without even thinking about it. That's how I played it. Okay, and then if you want to just be an investor, great, do that too. Do what you need to do. It's all good. There's nothing wrong with any of it, no matter what Stephen Mark Ryan says. Fractal Elf 7760. Joe Nelson, I'm sorry. He said he's referring to Joe Nelson 9760. He says, how the hell am I betting by keeping a realistic price target in mind? Makes no sense saying that. Bet. Here's a figure of speech. Is English your first language? Okay. So apparently he doesn't think he's betting either. And again, no difference. Whatever you want to do, you just, by the way, things have a lot to do with what age you are. If you're 22, bet like crazy. Take some long. That's what Elon says. He says, take some risks in your 20s where you have plenty of time to start over. I had to start over when I was 60 years old. That's a lot harder. And it wasn't because of a bad bet. It was just because of a really, like, what do they call it? Perfect storm in my business, my family life, medically. Everything happened at once. And I had to start my entire life over at age 60. Somehow I've come out okay. This is the backyard of one of my 3 homes. Okay, my Tim O'Melbourne's 4757 says market cap 59.783 billion today. So that's my new, I guess that was my new market cap that I was recommending. He says, oh, only up 40 billion. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no, I'm completely misreading this. Well, you see, you guys would have all caught me. No, he's saying today, which was, I think, yesterday, as I'm doing this. Yesterday, of course, it went up 9 or 10 bucks. So up, I don't think that's 40 billion. That would be, wouldn't it be closer to 33 billion? Anyway, whatever it is, sitting at almost 600 billion, he was saying, go Tesla. And guess what? When the when the cyber cab happens, caught myself. When the cyber cab happens or when Optimus happens, the numbers are going to be that every day and more. All right, that's all I got. If you haven't done it already, hit the like button, subscribe, hit notify. We got Nicholas coming up soon here. He'll be on, right around probably 4:30, 5 o'clock California time. And then join Patreon if you're getting any value. I know tipping is going away. People are saying, oh, I'm so tired of tipping everywhere. Yeah, but if you're getting value and you're not paying anything at all for it, so a little $3 a month, $5 a month, just go down below, find that little, what is it called? Patreon. Yeah, find the Patreon thing and help out the channel. It'd be great. I would certainly appreciate it. So till I see you later with Nicholas Gibbs, been great talking to you. Oh, you know what? We should also put up a card right here. We had that really good video earlier with Brian White, so you might want to go check that out as well. All right, so what do you think about my new studio? I know the what do you call it? The camera work or the lighting is not right, but other than that, not a bad studio, right? Okay, great talking to you.